Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
Judge Jeanine Pirro.
She's the outspoken host.
Judge Jeanine Pirro is dominating the headlines right now.
This is the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Judge Jeanine Pirro.
Welcome, everyone, to the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation show. I hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday so far. It's a great day here in New York City. It's a little too cold. I'm starting to get angry about it, but there's nothing I can do about it. So, as always, we're armed and ready to serve justice with all my great listeners here on the Red Apple Audio Network. Well, folks, we are deep into the Trump year, and it is nonstop news. And so there's an awful lot that's happened. And I want to go through some of it with you. And I think we should start with the really great news that the astronauts were brought back from having been in outer space for 9 months. It was an absolutely compelling, momentous to watch the capsule come down and land in the Gulf of America, the newly named Gulf of America, and to bring these astronauts back home who were supposed to be up there for 10 days, but ended up being up there for 9 months. And you know what the frustrating part of it is? I'm going to hit it right from the get-go, folks. Elon Musk offered to bring them down through SpaceX, and Joe Biden refused. Okay, Joe Biden refused to bring those astronauts down who were supposed to be there for only 10 days because he didn't want Elon Musk to get the credit. So how did they end up in that mess? Well, it's pretty simple. Boeing was supposed to bring him back, and Boeing had a problem. What a shock. Now, I have my own theory. If it's Boeing, I ain't going. Okay, if you'll recall, Boeing is the one where the doors fly off the planes. They've got all these problems. You've got 2 whistleblowers against the company who die, one within days of giving evidence, both of them healthy individuals. Now, I wish I had my prosecutor hat still on, because I'd love to get my teeth into that. But the truth is that Joe Biden hated Donald Trump so much. He knew that Elon Musk was starting at that point to work with Donald Trump, and he wanted no credit to go to Elon Musk for bringing those astronauts home. So as a result, they stayed up in space for 9 months. And there are negative consequences to your body. I mean, you lose bone mass, your muscles atrophy. Apparently your gut has problems. There are brain impacts on your brain. And if you recall, they brought Sonny and Butch off off the capsule in a stretcher because they can't stand. They've been in zero gravity, so they don't have the ability to walk. They have to learn how to walk again. So, let's start it right on that. Elon Musk willing to bring him back. The Democrat Joe Biden administration didn't want to do that. So, he hated Donald Trump and Elon Musk more than he cared about the well-being of 2 American astronauts. They believe that Musk is such a bad person that, everything he does needs to be destroyed. Elon Musk has come through as this hero. And he started as a hero. He started as a hero with electric cars. The left loved him. Okay, he created these electric cars. And you know what he did, folks? To give you an idea of what a generous guy he is. He gave the patent away. After he made the Tesla, he gave it away. He said, if somebody else wants to use it, fine. Now, this is not a vicious guy. This is a guy who's doing everything he can to help America. He's a guy who, when he took over Twitter and created X, he got rid of the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. And he's doing it for the federal government. But no, we have to hate him now. Even though everything he's done has been great stuff, we need to hate him. And I want to tell you how petty the left is. And the Democrats as a party, they're leaderless, they're rudderless, they don't have a focus, they're struggling to find cohesion, a message, and they're so upset that we would dare save money for the American taxpayer that they want to destroy Elon Musk. And the way to destroy Elon Musk is to try to destroy everything that he's created, including the Tesla. Now take a listen to Tim Walz. You know him. He was Kamala's vice presidential candidate. He's a real smart one. Take a listen to this.
Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, and if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out, just telling you.
What a petty, petty man. He gets a boost during the day when he sees a company lose money on the stock exchange. Now, forget that in his own state, 20,000 people work for Tesla. These Democrats are so full of hate. They don't care because their ideology and their politics are more important than your pocketbook. And that's exactly why they lost the election. And this nonsense, take dental floss and get the Tesla insignia off your car. You petty, you are disgusting. Okay, but now, because they've gotten that out there, they've got now a whole army of Democrat ideologues who are trying to burn, destroy, blow up, and damage Tesla cars, Tesla dealerships, and they are now, folks, domestic terrorists. That's what they are. They are domestic terrorists, and they are going to be prosecuted as such. And then you have Mark Kelly. You know Mark Kelly. He's the United States Senator who was an astronaut. He comes out and he engages in one of the Democrats, one of the way they criticize the people who are with the president. And he calls Elon Musk an a-hole, okay? Out and out a-hole on social media. He says, I'm getting rid of my Tesla because Elon Musk is an a-hole. He says the word, he doesn't say a-hole. Now think about this. I want you to think about the fact Mark Kelly was an astronaut. Elon Musk is the guy who went up after 9 months because Donald Trump asked him to go up and to bring astronauts home who suffered up there for 9 months, whose families didn't see them for 9 months, who have suffered physical and emotional consequences. These people, folks, they are haters. They have no belief in this country. They want to destroy companies, destroy jobs, destroy the president, destroy the efforts to save our tax dollars. They're full of hate. And they think it's more important to hate than it is to benefit America. And in the end, I think they should keep doing it. And I hope that the Attorney General will make sure that these domestic terrorists who have been, they're all over the country, it is organized to blow up Tesla dealerships, to burn up the cars, and to damage them. I hope that they're charged with the appropriate crime, which is conspiracy and obviously the damage to and the destruction of property. Now, as if that isn't bad enough, folks, I want to talk about the judges. Now, there are people who say, you know what, these judges, they're just trying to do what's right. But what is happening now is that the left, the judges on the left, are trying to stop the president and his decision to throw out of this country the individuals who are illegal and dangerous, okay? I would think that most Americans would support that. If you're illegal and you're dangerous, you shouldn't be here. You don't have the right to be here. And that's why Donald Trump ended up with a mandate. That's why he ended up with every swing state, because Americans were fed up with an invasion. It was an invasion. And so now the judges are trying to stop Donald Trump's effort to throw out these criminal aliens, all right? Tren de Aragua, TDA, is now a foreign terrorist organization, okay? It's been designated as such. They have no right to be in this country. And the president and Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, worked out an agreement where El Salvador and Bukele, who was the president there, was to take in hundreds of this Venezuelan gang from the United States. And the agreement was done. And all of a sudden, they get them on an airplane. And a local federal judge by the name of Boasberg decides, I don't want this to happen. And they're in court, and the United States attorney says, wait a minute, the plane is already over international waters. And the judge says, I don't care, bring it back. Are you kidding me? You are a local trial judge, and you are trying to involve yourself in national security, in international foreign policy, and telling us to bring a plane back? We don't have the ability to do that. We don't even know if we can do that. Plus, we were in international waters. You have no right to direct that we bring this plane back. And the end result is this judge is now saying you can no longer send these savages back to El Salvador because we want them here in America. Folks, that's what the left is. Tren de Aragua killed Rachel Morin. Tren de Aragua killed Rachel Laken Riley. Tren de Aragua killed Jocelyn Nungary. That's the little girl who was 11 years old, who was repeatedly raped, strangled, hung from a bridge with concrete bricks on her feet. Come on, folks. I don't want to have to tell you this stuff, but this is what they're fighting for. These are not people who believe what we believe. And the fact is that a judge moves to block deportations of illegal immigrants under a wartime law invoked by President Trump. Okay, Tren de Aragua. They were, by the way, immediately released or transferred to a terrorism confinement center in El Salvador. And the president, Nayib Bukele, posted on X with footage of them coming in and said, you also sent us 23 MS-13 gang members, ringleaders, and you also sent us people that we had warrants out for, that were criminals from our country and came to your country. And you want to bring them back to the United States? And let me just tell you how deep it is. That when the president talked about naming a refuge in Galveston, Texas for little Jocelyn Nungary, the 11-year-old, because she loved animals, not a one Democrat could stand, applaud, or even smile. Their hate is pervasive. They are the party of hate. And if you don't agree with them, they're done with you. And they will destroy you. And they will do everything they can to make sure that you are silenced. We saw it. We saw it during the Biden administration. Silenced, canceled, and whatever else. And you've got this Congresswoman. Her name is Jasmine Crockett. She attacks Donald Trump for using the law to deport members of TDA. She says that it's an outrage. That gang is obviously associated with a lot of crime. Why wouldn't you want them deported? What do you want to do with them? And she says, well, we need to follow the law. You know what? She's the one who doesn't even know what the law is, and she's in the business of writing the law. So today, we've got a great guest who's going to talk about all the legalities here. Mike Davis, the former chief counsel for the nominations to the Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley. He's the founder and president of Article 3. Folks, you need to know about this stuff. I want you armed and ready. We've got the Alien Enemies Act. You don't even have the right to go to court if the Secretary of State says that you are a foreign terrorist. We've also got the INA 237, that again doesn't require any kind of hearing. You're here illegally. We're not going to rape you. We're not going to wrap you in the flag and the Constitution and protect you and get you a lawyer and a translator and 3 meals a day and make sure you can stay and everyone in your family. It's time to clean up this country. And that's my opening statement here on the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation show. Up next here on the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation show, I will be speaking with the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, Mike Davis, coming up right here on the Red Apple Audio Network.
It's the Judge Jeanine Show. Now, it's time for Protecting Your Future, sponsored by Colonial Metals Group. Here's Judge Jeanine.
Hi, I'm Jeanine Pirro, and this is Protecting Your Future, sponsored by Colonial Metals Group. Today, we're talking about protecting America from criminals who want to destroy us. It's time we talked about protecting your investment with Colonial Metals Group. Do you remember last summer, it was right before the election, the governor of Colorado, Gerald Polis, a Democrat, said it wasn't true that these gangs were actually going to apartment complexes and breaking down the doors and the locks and bursting into individuals' apartments, that he's spoken to the mayors and the police, and it just wasn't true. Meanwhile, we all saw on video what was going on, okay? And then we knew not only were they controlling apartment buildings and condos by throwing the people out who legally belonged in those apartments. You have people who now are objecting to these Tren de Aragua gang members being deported, saying, well, you still have no idea whether or not they were really a gang member. Meanwhile, they've got all the tattoos on them. And someone said, well, maybe they're a tattoo artist. I got to tell you, Tren de Aragua has set up shop in 16 states in this country, and they're killing and raping, and the Democrats are taking their side and not yours. And you know what? The governor was wrong. Everyone knew it. And this is what you have to be on the lookout for. They will lie to you for politics.
This is the Jeanine Pirro Show. Now, here's Judge Jeanine Pirro.
Welcome back to the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation Show. Joining us now is the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. He is an individual that's been on the show before. His previous life, he was chief counsel for nominations to Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley. He was one of those guys who would shepherd the Supreme Court justice candidates through the hearings, and he's done a phenomenal job. He is absolutely brilliant, and I don't think that there's any topic more appropriate for him than the topic that we're going to discuss this morning, and that is the issue of what's happening with the federal judges who are literally attempting to stop the president in the execution of his directives as president of the United States. So welcome, Mike Davis. How are you today? Where are you? Colorado?
I'm in Colorado, Judge, and thank you for having me.
Now, we've got this local judge, Blowsberg, from D.C., and I call him a local judge, Michael, because he is a local district judge. He is a trial judge. He's not even an appellate judge. And he has made the decision that he was going to direct the return of those planes with the Trendy Aragua, designated a foreign terrorist organization, to actually return to the United States. Now, he did that last weekend, but we are now seeing a lot of the consequences of that, where other judges are starting to kind of feel their oats and get involved in issues that they should not be involved in. Why don't you tell our listeners why a local federal judge should not be involved in demanding, of all things, once they're out of the United States, a jet to return full of barbarous, medieval, vicious criminals to the United States.
And terrorists. They're designated foreign terrorists.
Yes.
So remember this, Judge, that President Trump ran on the fact that he's going to hire Elon Musk, he's going to set up Doge, he's going to cut waste, fraud, and abuse, he's going to secure our border, he's going to get these vicious foreign terrorists and international gangbangers the hell out of our country. And the American people like what we heard, and we elected President Trump with an overwhelming electoral mandate, 312 electoral votes, all 7 swing states, the popular vote. President Trump kept the House. He won the Senate, a comfortable margin. The American people elected President Trump to get the job done, and he's doing it. He's doing the unthinkable, Judge. He's actually
doing the job.
what he promised American voters he would do, and he's doing it fast. This is the advantage of President Trump this term. He had never run for office before. He had never been in office before. He was in office for 4 years. He made mistakes the first time. As President Trump, he doesn't like to acknowledge he made mistakes, but he made mistakes, particularly on personnel, right? And so he had 4 years in office, 4 years to reflect. He's ready to govern on day one. And remember this, President Trump is not stealing Congress's legislative power under Article 1. He's not stealing the Supreme Court's judicial power under Article 3. He is exercising core Article 2 executive power as the chief executive officer, as the commander-in-chief, to take care that our laws are faithfully executed, to protect the American homeland from invasion, to repel invasion. And you have these activist judges, these oftentimes Democrat-appointed judges by Obama and Biden, particularly in Washington, D.C., but also in other liberal hellholes, who are not exercising judicial review. They are executing judicial sabotage of the president's core Article 2 executive powers. And this has gotten so bad. I know this for a fact, Judge, because these judges are so stupid they don't realize that they're talking to people inside their building who may not be on their side. But they're actually having a contest among these D.C. District Court activist judges to see who's going to issue the next TRO. They're giddy about it.
All right. And of course, for my listeners, a TRO is a temporary restraining order trying to stop the president from doing his job. But Michael, I think what's important for my listeners to understand is that judges do have an important role. We're not saying that they don't, but there are certain areas where judges should not be involved. And one of those areas is the Article 2, as you call it, the executive power of the president to get rid of foreign terrorist organizations. I mean, these people are savages. They are savages what they do to people in this country. And you've got this guy. He was an Obama appointed judge, this guy Blowsberg. Yes?
Yep, Boasberg. Yes,
okay.
Jeb Boasberg. And really, Judge, there are 2 cases that are really egregious, a really egregious, lawless. They're 2 lawless orders, and they not only are they lawless, they're very dangerous. This started there's a new judge on the D.C. District Court. His name is Judge Ali, and he is actually still a Canadian citizen. I don't know how the hell this happens.
Are you kidding?
He's a Canadian citizen, and he's a D.C. District Court judge for the rest of his life. He brags that he's the first Muslim, the first Arab on the D.C. federal bench, and he just got on the bench in the lame duck session after the election. He got jammed through by the Democrats before they had to hand over the gavel in January. This guy is a complete radical. He's the one who President Trump wanted to do a 60 or a 90-day pause on foreign aid so the president can do a national security review, which is his constitutional duty to take care that we're not funding Hamas terrorists, for example, under the guise of Gaza humanitarian relief, to make sure that we're not funding waste, fraud, and abuse, like researching transgender mice in Pakistan or whatever the hell they're doing at USAID. And so President Trump just paused $2 billion in foreign aid at USAID just to do a review. Right. And this judge ordered the president to send out this $2 billion
to reinstate it.
Yes, over his national security review in a TRO, temporary restraining order. As you know, Judge, that TRO is essentially a permanent injunction because this money's not coming back, right? Once you send $2 billion out the door, it's not coming back. It's going to go to Hamas terrorists so they can kill Americans, or, transgender mice, bless their souls. And then so Judge Ali ordered the president to do this, and the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision didn't stop him because because he labeled it as a TRO, and then the Chief Justice, who's a wimp, and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who I always say is a rattled law professor with her head up or behind, said, "Oh, this is a TRO. It's not immediately appealable under our federal civil procedure." Well, it's not a TRO. It's a permanent injunction, but it just shows that they're wimps and they're exercising bad judgment.
So we've got judges who are saying, Mr. President, although you have an obligation to make sure that what is going on and that the laws of Congress are being enforced properly, including the allocation of monies, we're not going to let you stop money that you think is going to, let's say, foreign terrorist organization or to do a transgender opera in China somewhere. Then we've got another judge who's saying we've got these savages that were, killed Jocelyn Nunn Gary and, massacre innocent Americans. Another judge saying you're going to return them back to the United States so they can come here and be protected and victimize the rest of us. Then we have another judge, Biden appointed judge, who blocked the transgender military ban. And all of these judges, when you do the research, you find out that they all hate Donald Trump. I mean, that their background, their wife was fundraising, or that they were someone who has supported Joe Biden. I mean, this is not about the law. This is about activism.
It's not judicial review. It is judicial sabotage by these activist judges who think that a single judge in a single left-wing district in America can set national policy, and including, apparently, can even take over the duties of the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, when you're dealing with foreign invasion and foreign affairs. Think about it this way, Judge. If you're the El Salvador president and you're working with President Trump, you saw the video of the massive security operation on the other end when they were taking these terrorists, right? We didn't have that in place. When this Judge Jeb Boasberg, ordered the president to turn around those planes. Thank God those planes did not turn around. Yeah. We did not have that security footprint in America that they had in El Salvador, because we never could have imagined that a judge would run in, hold a hearing, expose the operation, and then order the president to turn around planes full of terrorists and MS-13 gang members, Tren de Aragua and MS-13.
And by the way, in addition, Michael, I'm sorry to interrupt. In addition, there were some people who were wanted by the El Salvadoran government as well on that plane.
Yes. I mean, I can't think of anything more dangerous than a judge running in, opening up a hearing on Saturday, exposing an operation that's ongoing to put those American and allied lives in danger, and then double down by ordering the president to turn around the planes over the Gulf of America. Did this judge know how much fuel was on these planes? Right. Did this judge know the security footprint back in America? Like, did we have the same security footprint in America that they did in El Salvador to take these vicious terrorists? I mean, and then here's a bigger problem. If the El Salvador president has hundreds of officials, military, law enforcement, government officials waiting for these terrorists in El Salvador, he is taking a big political risk to work with the president of the United States to do this with very dangerous people. If those planes get turned around, he looks like an idiot in front of his people, and he's going to be embarrassed. And so it makes it less likely that these foreign leaders are going to trust President Trump to be able to do foreign policy with him because they're worried that some activist judge is going to interfere in their foreign relations. That's unacceptable. That is a violation of clear Supreme Court case law for centuries. The president runs the executive branch. He's in control of foreign policy. And under Trump versus Hawaii, just from 6 years ago, the Supreme Court reaffirms again that the president is in charge of our immigration, right? So this is just unacceptable what this Judge Boasberg has done. And I don't say this lightly. I really do not. I have never called on anyone to ignore a court order. I have called on President Trump and his team to ignore this lawless order by Boasberg because not only is it extraordinarily lawless, it's extraordinarily dangerous to our national security. It put American and allied lives in danger. It damages the president's ability to conduct foreign affairs. It endangers our national security. So I said ignore this order, and we've called for this judge's impeachment, which I've never done before.
So now that we've got judges who are involving themselves in issues of national security and international diplomacy, when you talk about Marco Rubio having worked out the deal with Bukele in El Salvador to allow these savages to be brought to the prison there, and then you've got this local judge who says, no, I want to stop, but I want them to return the plane. And the plane was over international waters. So, I mean, it wasn't in a position to turn around. And as you say, I mean, you talk about a footprint. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like when some of these individuals get a sense that things aren't right on an airplane, the danger that it would present to our FBI and CIA and whoever else is on that airplane. But there is now an attempt to impeach Judge Boasberg, and I have in front of me the resolution where they say he violated his oath of office, and the Constitution provides that the House has the sole power of impeachment. But under the Alien Enemies Act, and remember, that's what we tried to get Mohammed Khalil out of the country with, it is the president's sole and unreviewable discretion to invoke the provisions of the act, including whether an invasion has taken place. So the left is saying, no, this is about free speech. You and I know it's not about free speech if he is cooperating with a foreign terrorist organization, and if he doesn't have a legal right to be here anyway. People are acting like, this guy, he seems like a nice guy, but in his conduct, he violated his oath to the Constitution. He is anti-American. Can someone please tell me why the left, why the Democrats would use this as a hill to die on?
Yeah, because they can't help themselves. The Democrats have allowed their TDS, their Trump derangement syndrome, to turn into supporting TDA, Tren de Aragua, the most vicious international gang and international terrorists in the Western Hemisphere. So you have Democrats, TDS, leading to supporting TDA. It's unbelievable how crazy they are that they're dying on this. So I mean, as a Republican political hack, I love this, that they're dying on this hill, because it's just so insane that they're going to do this. That the Republicans could actually pick up House and Senate seats in the next election, which is, it's very hard to pick up Senate seats or House seats for the president's party in the first off-year election. They usually lose and lose badly, but this could change that dynamic. I would say this to Judge Boasberg. Unless he's a transgender black woman, I don't know how he thinks he's qualified to be an air traffic controller, because Joe Biden only hired transgender black women. So for that reason alone, I think Judge Boasberg should step aside from his moonlighting as an air traffic controller on Saturday and probably just stick the cases and controversies under Article 3.
I must tell you, I mean, you are brilliant as it relates to the Article 3 project and what you're doing. But this, we're entering a new era, and I just want to kind of end it on this. We're entering a new era where judges who have been identified as political operatives are doing whatever they can to take down the presidential executive rights of the commander-in-chief, and that's got to stop. And there are a lot of people who just feel like, the judge is and I was a judge. I mean, whatever the judge says is fine. But I think, we're at a point where it's been so horrible, the effort on the left to prevent the Trump agenda and the mandate that the American people gave him from going through, that they'll do anything to stop Donald Trump, irrespective of the constitutionality.
And that's why I'm working with the House and Senate right now at the Article 3 project to draft legislation, to draft resolutions of impeachment against these, not just lawless judges. It's not just they got the law wrong. It has to be that the orders are clearly lawless and they're clearly dangerous. That's the standard that I'm using for impeachment for these judges, because I don't take it lightly, just like I don't take it lightly to ignore judges' orders. I've only done it once with Boasberg with these planes turning around. And we're also working with legislation to get the Article 3 judges back to their job. It's a modest but crucial role. They decide cases and controversies with parties before them that have redressable claims. That's
right.
it. It's a powerful job. It's an important job. They're not the president. They're not members of Congress. They don't set national policy. They resolve disputes. Right.
Yep.
And so we're going to get them back to their modest but crucial role.
And you know what, Michael, I will tell you this. It's one of the reasons I left the bench. I had a 10-year term. I was the first woman elected to the county court, felony cases. And I left the bench because I was a fighter. And as a judge, my job was simply to review what was occurring in front of me, sustained, overruled, to sentence individuals, when I wanted to be in the well of the courtroom fighting the fight. So I knew enough to step off the bench, much to my mother's chagrin, and to run for DA and then fight the fight for many years. But in any event, Michael Davis, it's going to be another interesting week. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation Show. Up next here on the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation Show, I will gavel out with my closing argument. It's all coming up here on the Red Apple Audio Network.
It's the Judge Jeanine Show. This is the Jeanine Pirro Show. Now, here's Judge Jeanine Pirro.
Welcome back to the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation Show. It's now time for me to gavel out with my closing argument. You know what, folks? It's really very simple. I was in the business of prosecuting for well over 3 decades. My job was to fight crime, to lock up criminals, to protect victims, and to try to make them whole again. That is an essential, fundamental concept of our criminal justice system. And the first order of government is the protection of its citizens. We not only have a Democrat Party that believes that the people who need to be protected are the criminals, but we've got judges in that party who want to stop us from enforcing the law. And not just us, but the President of the United States. This cannot last. We cannot be victimized by those who want to destroy us. And I'm not talking about the illegal who wants to get a job here, who wants to take care of his family. I'm talking about criminals. This is my wheelhouse, folks. Tren de Aragua and MS-13. I used to prosecute them when I was a DA. They are animals. The way you get into the gang is you murder someone openly in front of other people, and that's how you get your creds. So let's stop being idiots. Let's stop allowing the Democrats to try to change America. We are the best nation in the world, and we should be the safest. Make sure you join us right back here next week, same time, same place, for the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation show. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.